every time you see somebody achieving something big, whether it's building wealth or getting up and relocating, leaving the West and going to the motherland, or getting a hold of their finances, building financial wealth, whatever it is, you have this predictable voice that whispers to you, oh, it's okay for them because they're special. It's okay for them because they're rich anyway. They've already got money. Whatever it is, that voice that whispers to you is lying to you, and it is sabotaging you from building wealth. Is sabotaging you from actually hitting your goals. You've always wanted to relocate. You've been having this niggling voice in your spirit where you're not satisfied with where you're at. You're not satisfied with your 9 to 5. You feel that you would flourish in another country. But that whispering voice that tells you that when it comes to you, you can't do it. But when it comes to somebody else, they're able to do it because of all of these seemingly lucky things about them. Well, that voice is sabotaging you from building your wealth, from relocating and living your best life. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that voice is lying to you. I'm going to give you 5 practical steps so that you're able to rebuild your confidence and rebuild your wealth foundation, and prepare yourself to relocate with power so that when you come back home, you are prepared, you've got a great exit strategy, and you can hit that ground running. And most importantly, you have a successful relocation where you don't have to come back to the West with your tails between your legs, having to admit failure. No. That doesn't happen here. Minus you. Say minus you. That ain't going to happen to you. All right. So stay tuned for the video. So if you're new here, my name is Afriye and I am the founder of the Diaspora Exit Strategy. I help UK and US and EU diasporans move from feeling stuck in the West to building wealth, and also to build financial stability and creating structured financial exit plans so that you can build before you leave the West. And as I said earlier, return home with your chest high and with confidence. All right, let's get into the video. Okay, so before we get into the meat of the video, I'm just some random lady from South London. Big up all my South London people. There's been many times where I've been broke, many times that I've been out of work. But what I didn't want to do was I didn't want to allow my circumstance to dictate my future. Yes, in reality, I didn't have money in my bank account. Yes, in reality, things weren't working for me. But that doesn't dictate who I am. That doesn't define my identity. And that certainly doesn't dictate my future. So I was determined to come out of the Western world. I just never ever felt at peace there. I felt that I could flourish in another country. For some reason, UK was stifling me. It might be great for you. Some people love the UK, and that's okay. This video is not for you. But for me, I felt like a hamster on the wheel, going round and round and round. And I managed to have my businesses. I managed to have a business, but I felt like there was only a certain level that I could go. And I felt like somebody was strangling me. I don't know. I just felt like I was suffocating and I just needed to get out. And so for me, I never had a silver spoon in my mouth. I never had people that could help me in that way. I had to build step by step from scratch. I left school at the age of 14 because I had dyslexia. Okay, the teachers didn't understand the way that I work, so I was seen as trouble. I couldn't keep still in class, and so I left at 14. I had my son at 17 years old, and then I had to, because of my son, I felt that I wanted to give my son a good life. So I went back to school, I got my education, I got my degree, and I worked in the corporate world, and I absolutely hated it. I hated the corporate world. It just wasn't for me. So I had left it. I went into consultancy for a bit, but then there were times where money had dried up. Because when it comes to consultancy work, it's not always like a tap of money, right? Money would dry up. Okay. And sometimes, I used to have to climb up the stairs, 4 flights of stairs, because I was on the 4th floor to my council flat. Right. And when people used to want to come to visit, I used to feel embarrassed because most of my friends lived in houses, they were married. I was a single parent living in a council flat, and at times there was no money coming in because work had dried up. This is where I'm coming from. Stay with me, guys, because I just want to tell you my story so that if there's anybody that's listening to this video with that voice in their head that I talked about earlier saying, oh, it's okay for you because you had the money, it's okay for you because you had it all figured out. No, I didn't. At the time when I made a decision that I wanted to relocate, I was out of work. I just said, you know what? I believe in the law of karma. I believe in sowing and reaping. While I am out of work, let me try and bless people. I can bless people with my gifts. So I decided to go to Kenya and to teach people how to make soap. Okay. And I happened to teach some women from the Maasai community who was struggling with domestic violence. There was a lot of female genital mutilation in their environment, in their tribe, child marriage. There was a lot of issues going on. So I never knew anybody in Kenya. I got up, I fundraised because I didn't have the money, and I went and I did the charity work. And, from there, things started moving up for me. Work started coming in. Then I decided to take my work money to put it into a business. And I did that. I put it into a skincare business because my background is cosmetic science and herbalism. So I put it into a skincare business. And luckily for me, I made some good money out of it because it was also during a time of COVID, right? People are at home, people are spending money, and also people really into their wellness and everything else. So I was able to make that money to then be able to the council flat that I was ashamed of. I was able to buy that council flat and then start building my wealth from there. Then I was able to take my seed money, come back to Kenya, and start buying property, buying land, and the rest is history. So I say all of this to tell you, you don't have to have it all figured out straight away before you relocate. You don't have to have the funds straight away. I don't care if you are earning £15 an hour minimum wage. I don't care. I don't care if you're telling me that because of these circumstances, I can't relocate. X, Y, Z. I've heard all the excuses in my consultancy. I've heard them all. There is nothing that you can tell me that I haven't heard why you can't relocate. Okay, so whether you are retiring, whether you are a parent, whether you're a single person, whatever the case may be, you can relocate. It's just taking a plan like what I did. I relocated 5 years it took me from realizing my circumstances and then seeing the gap between where I was at and where I wanted to be. And all I simply did was fill the gap. Now you guys have AI. There is no excuse. For some of you, it would take a lot shorter time to build your wealth and to relocate because you have AI. I never had AI at the time. In fact, if I had AI, I would have relocated in about a year. I'm telling you. There's a lot of tools that you guys have that we don't have in Africa. If I could have access to TikTok Shop, oh my gosh. Like, you guys have got so much access. We don't have that here. In order for me to have certain tools that you have, I have to have a VPN and all that kind of stuff. So there is no excuse. AI, social media, the internet, modern technology has reduced the friction and broken down the barriers to entry for you to make money. So if I can do it, it doesn't mean that you can't do it too. The key is recognizing where you are at, seeing the gaps, filling the gaps, and fulfilling your dreams. All right. Okay. Let's get into the video. Step 1, your future self script. So your exit doesn't start with a plane ticket. It starts with you deciding who you are becoming. Before you build wealth, before you calculate your exit strategy, before you look at visas, you need a clear identity, a clear picture of the version of you when you have left the West. This is manifestation, right? I'm not saying anything new, but it's so important. There's a reason why so many people talk about it, and it actually works. The power of visualization, seeing, right, is really, really powerful. So instead of looking at your circumstances, okay, which, yes, it is real, we're not denying that, but that's not the full story. That shouldn't dictate your future. So take some time and really visualize the type of person that you are going to be when you've left the West, right? Are you going to be a business mogul? Are you going to be a property developer? Or are you going to be somebody that's just going to be chilling, connecting with nature, eating fresh food, having that time? You know, it's personal to everyone. Everybody's different. For some people, they just want the time to be a mother. For some people, they've got children, but they cannot enjoy their children. Every day, they wake up rushing, taking their children to school. Then they have to be going to rush to work. You're on the train and it is packed. You're already stressed. People are smelling at 7 a.m. in the morning. People are just annoying you, trying to fight through the crowds of people getting to work. Then when you're on your way to the seat, you're seeing that feisty boss or that feisty colleague, right? That you're going to have to play the nice game, you know, and kiki with them. Meanwhile, you don't even want to be there, right? And then you come home, on route home, you're having to go through the whole thing again. You're having to go through the rush hour people. You're already stressed. You pick up your child. You're at home and your child is asking you a million questions, and you're even so stressed. You even take it out on your child because they're asking you why, mommy, or daddy, and you're even stressed. You can't enjoy your children. So for some of you, you just want to enjoy your children. You just want that time. For some of you, it's just to relax. Whatever the reason, see yourself in that picture. See yourself becoming that better version of yourself. It is really powerful. I want you to take a piece of paper, get a pen, and write down, who do I want to be when I have left the West? What country do I want to relocate to in the motherland? What lifestyle do I actually want to live? Am I buying land? Buying my dream home? Living by the coast? Living in the city? Running my dream business? Investing in real estate? What does my best life on the continent actually look like? Write it in the present tense as if it's already happened, okay? So when I did this exercise, I used to write, I am living in the motherland. I am wealthy. I do have a financial plan. I am living in nature. I am connecting with nature. I am living my best life. I am healthy. One of the reasons why I wanted to leave the Western world is because of my health. I had 2 fibroids taken out. The first one I had an operation, the fibroids grew back. I had another operation, and I sincerely believe that it's through the food that we are eating and the chemicals that is all around us that's causing us to be ill. And that was one of the reasons why I left the West. I just wanted to eat healthy food. I was sick of GMO food, right? So now I'm here. I get to eat fresh food straight from the earth, straight from the sea. Okay. I drink herbs every single day. In fact, as I'm talking to you now, I'm drinking. Mm, this is so good. This is made with pure coconut milk that's been made by my business partner's wife. She makes it from fresh coconuts. This is with watermelon with the seeds. okay, and pineapple and mango, cucumber. You know, I get to have this every day. I get to eat fresh foods. Mm. So, where was I? When you are writing down on a piece of paper, write in the present tense. I am living a soft life, and why not? We deserve it. Listen, when it comes to melanated people, I find that this is a common trait amongst a lot of us. We believe that we have to suffer. We believe that, we have to struggle. That comes from slavery and that comes from colonization. And we need to get that out of our DNA. Who told you that you have to struggle? Who told you that your identity is suffering? No, you deserve to be happy and you deserve to live a soft life. We don't need to apologize for it. If you see some of my comments that I get, especially when I show my home and my swimming pool and my lifestyle, I get people commenting saying, are you living in a hotel or are you renting it? And I had to clap back and say, let's normalize Black people having wealth. Let's normalize Black people living a luxurious life. Let's normalize Black people enjoying life. You know, why not? It's yours. You deserve it. So when I was writing this list, I wasn't writing a wish list. This is not a wish list. I was manifesting. I was commanding. I was speaking life, saying, I am. And there's something amazing about the brain is that the minute you do that, the brain starts to move towards that direction. It doesn't distinguish a lie or the truth. The brain doesn't. It just takes the facts and then processes those facts. So the brain starts designing your decisions around the person that you are saying that you're becoming. So your first assignment from this video is to write your future self script for 7 days. Step 2 is expectation reset. There's something called the expectation theory, right? So you rise to the value of your expectation. So if you expect something to be difficult, your behavior is going to match that expectation. If you say to yourself, oh, it's really hard to relocate, it's so difficult, it's so challenging, guess what? That's what's going to be for you because that's your expectation. So your expectation is going to become your outcome. People say things like, it's hard for me to budget. It's hard for me to save money. It's hard for me to build wealth. It's hard for me to run a business. It's hard for me to relocate. Because you keep on saying that, your brain is going to prove you right. So two people can be in the exact same position, okay, on minimum wage. They could be in debt. They've got bills coming out of their ears. One will say, this is hard. And the other one's going to say, this is challenging, but I'm going to figure it out. Same reality, two completely different outcomes. Here's what I want you to do. Write a list of everything that you think that's hard. Then rewrite each one as a learning identity. I'm learning to save consistently. I'm learning to budget well. I can build a structured exit plan. I can build wealth. I can build wealth as an immigrant, even though I don't like that word immigrant. I can't stand. Why is it? Okay, let me do a bunny trail here, right? Why is it that when it comes to the Western world, when they go to Africa or Asia or wherever it is they go to, they are expats, right? But when it comes to an African coming to the Western world, you're an immigrant. Make that make sense? Do you know the amount of West Africans that have gone to America that have become multimillionaires? The Nigerians that have gone there, doctors, lawyers, Ghanaians, accountants, plastic surgeons, they've gone out there and they have made money. They have built wealth, but they are still looked upon as an immigrant. I don't understand this. But when somebody from the Western world goes to Africa, he may not have even built wealth. He could just have gone because his company transferred them there. And oh, they're an expat and they immediately form an expat community. I just think it's rubbish. I just think it's rubbish. It's not an equal playing field. I will just use the word as an immigrant just for the purpose of this video, right? But I actually don't like that name. I think that expat should apply to everybody. Anyway, let me behave myself on here, right? Because that's not what this video is about. This video is about helping you to build before you relocate. Okay, let's get back on track. All right, where was we? When you write those things that I said, like I can, I will, etc., your brain is an auto-suggestion machine. It believes what you tell it repeatedly. So start telling it the truth about who you are becoming. Number 3, fix your foundation first. And what I mean by that is this, right? You cannot build a tower on shaky ground. Or what does the Bible say? You cannot build a house on sand. It's just not going to stand. It's going to fall, right? And that's the same as when you want to relocate. And when you look at your financial plan, when you look at your financial circumstances, you cannot build if you are in debt. It's not possible. You first of all have to deal with your debt first, and then you can start building on that. Now listen, I'm not the average relocation guide, expert, mentor, whatever you want to call it. This is not the average video that's going to be showing you, location. I'm on the beach. That's coming and that's going to be there, but we're going to take it back to the bare bones because I want you to be successful. I'm going to talk about the not so sexy things, right? I'm going to talk about the things that's going to prick you, the things that are going to force you to look into the mirror. But listen, if you want to leave the West, if you want to relocate, build wealth and live the life of your dreams, live soft life, you're going to have to face reality. It's not nice and it's not easy, but it is necessary for you to be successful. And debt is one of those things that I want you to, tackle head on, okay? You can't run away from your debt. Your debt is always going to haunt you. We are in an information age right now. Technology speaks to each other. Just because you run to Timbuktu, it doesn't mean you've left your debt behind. So you have to face your debt head on. Those letters, hey, I'm going because I've been there. I've been there. Those letters that come in a post, and it is red letters, yeah, big red letters, important, make sure you open, or whatever it is that you used to say on the letters, right? You have to open them. It's not nice, it's horrible, but you have to open them. It was so bad for me that my friend actually opened my letters for me. Yeah, because I couldn't. That thing would send me into depression. I'd go to bed, put my duvet over my head, and I ain't going to wake up for a week. So I knew myself. So I got my friend to open my letters for me, my friend Lynn. You all need to find a Lynn, right? If you can't face those letters and you're seeing them piling up on the side table, you need to get yourself a Lynn and you need to open those letters and you need to face it. The good thing about it is you are in the Western world. Now, I can't speak for parts of Europe, and I don't know how it works in America, but certainly in the UK, you can negotiate. You can negotiate with the creditors and, negotiate some kind of a payment plan or let them know your financial situation. It's not like Africa, my friend. Africa, you owe money, they are coming for you. There's no negotiation. This is why I'm saying when you're coming to Africa, you need to come to Africa with good seed money, right? Don't listen to the hype on social media where they're coming to tell you, yeah, just come and live the soft life. You can just come to Africa and make money. Who told you? Yes, it's easier to make money in some places in Africa. And what I mean by easier is there are a lot of opportunities. Africa is a developing nation. So it just comes with the territory where there's things that haven't been done yet that have been done in the Western world that you can come and you can implement those things. All right. But You need to come with good seed money. You need to come with a good foundation. And don't let that scare you either. Don't let it be, oh my gosh, I don't have that much money and I need all of this money to come to Africa, so I'm never going to relocate. No, that's not true. You can build wealth where you are. What I'm telling you is I'm telling you the realities. The realities of relocating is you can't come with debt and then expect to build. It ain't going to happen, my friend. You need to face your debt head on. Okay, I feel like I'm some head teacher here or some like your mother. Honestly, I am nice, but I have to be this way to just get it into some of you's head, or just to shake you like this, like, come on, you can do this. I was there. I was in debt. Wasn't good with money. I was not good with money. And you know what? My mum is so good with money, but she didn't pass that on to us. I went to university, and at Freshers Fair, they were handing out credit cards like it was sweets. Okay? Because you was a student, they were just handing them out like it was sweets. And I thought the banks were being nice to me by giving me money. I didn't even know that I'm going to have to pay money back. Remember, I left school at the age of 14. I had a child at the age of 17. I didn't go back to I didn't go back to education until I was, I think, 19, because my son was 2. I didn't go back to education until I was 19. So I didn't know about money. I didn't know about credit cards. I didn't know that these banks didn't like me. When they were giving out credit cards, I thought the bank loved me. And I was spending on clothes, and you know how it is when you haven't had money and it's been given to you in your hand. And they know they want to entrap you in debt because you're a student, and they're just going to have you for the rest of your life. So I was in debt. When I left university, I was in debt. We're not just even talking about student loan here. We're talking about credit card debts, right? And not paying things on time, and child tax credit overpayments, and all this stuff that I was in. It was so bad that I couldn't even get a mobile phone contract. I had to have pay as you go. Do you know how depressing that is? All right, it was that bad. I had a CCJ for 7 years. Oh my gosh. I didn't think those 7 years would ever come to an end. Everywhere I went, CCJ, CCJ. Okay, I think that I've talked about debt enough, but another shaky ground is low income. Low income is shaky grounds. And the reason why I'm saying that is that you don't know what life is going to throw you. Life is going to throw you some curve balls. And if you don't have enough money, if you're on a very low income, you are not going to be able to survive that curveball, right? So you have to do something about your low income. And that is basically increase your income. I was on a live, right? And somebody came on my live and said, well, what if you're on 15 pounds an hour? And what if you don't have the creativity to raise your income? What if you just don't have the know-how to raise your income? I said, excuse you? Pardon? Melanated people don't have the creativity. Hold on a minute. We don't even need to do anything. And our melanated skin is able to connect with the sun, and the melanin turns into vitamin D. Hey, you don't know your power. What? One of the most important elements in the universe loves us. It loves us. Magic happens when we connect with the sun. Our DNA. Hey, let me not even go on about our DNA. We're not creative. Who told you? Listen, I have worked in Kibera, which is the biggest slum in Africa. Okay. The amount of creativity that I saw there was mind-blowing. Kids were able to make things out of nothing, make toys, make transportation, mind-blowing. Do you know the inventions that we have created? Just research Kemet. They can't create those pyramids again. That's it. If they could, they would. They can't create it again. The very fact that you have melanated skin, the very fact that you are from the motherland means you're creative. You have to remove the chains that are in your mind. And this is why I said earlier, we have been conditioned to feel like struggle is our portion, or that we have to struggle. We've been conditioned that way. That comes from the slave plantation. Okay? What do you mean you're not creative? Of course you are creative. It's your mindset that is stopping you from being creative. You might be good at cooking. You might be a really good home husband or home wife. Okay? Look at Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart is what? She almost a billionaire or a billionaire, and she did this from home making. What's your excuse? You are unique and you are special, and your giftings are special. It might not be glamorous to other people, but there are people in this world that need your gifts. You have the answer to so many people's problems. You need to take your eyes off of yourself, and you need to put your eyes on the problems that other people have and start creating solutions. When you bury your gifts, when you say that you are not creative, you're selfish. I'm sorry, I said it. You're selfish because you are preventing so many people from enjoying your gifts and enjoying your creativity. So, what am I saying here? I'm saying that you need to build on a firm foundation, not on shaky grounds. Debt, bad money management, low income, all of these things that I've discussed and talked about is shaky grounds. Low self-esteem is shaky ground. You cannot build your exit strategy, a financial plan with low self-esteem. How do you see yourself? What do you say when you are by yourself and nobody's around? That inner voice, that subconscious voice is real, my friend. And that subconscious voice is what is going to cause your brain to move in that direction. It's going to cause you to start believing it. And then you have this self-belief that you are not good enough, that you're a worm, that you're not able to build wealth, that you're not able to be successful, that you can't live your best life, that you don't deserve it. That becomes a reality, and you cannot build on that. You are going to have to eliminate that negative belief about yourself. As Myron Golden will say, it is a lie identity. That is not your identity. Okay? Spending recklessly, bad money management, debt, bad financial habits, that is not your identity. You've accepted it to be your identity, but it is a lie identity, and you've got to get rid of it. And how I was able to get rid of my lie identity was renewing my mind, making sure that I was putting in positive things in my mindset. Because think about it, where did that come from? That identity, that bad image of ourselves came from listening to something, watching something, being around certain people. It came from somewhere. In order to eliminate it, we've got to do exactly the same thing, but with positive tools. So what I did was I read a lot of books, right? I read a lot of affirming books, business books. I read autobiographies. One of the books that really actually helped me was Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. That was powerful for me because I was like, this guy was in prison and he never behaved like a prisoner. He behaved like a leader. He didn't look at the prison walls, okay, and say that's going to restrict me, or that's going to stop me from who I am, or that's not going to stop me from what I'm doing. He still was leading people in prison. So I looked at my prison walls of debt and bad money management and not in a job, because at that time my consultancy work had dried up. And I looked at those walls and thought, yeah, like Nelson Mandela, why should I allow those walls to imprison me? it doesn't, it's not my identity. He never accepted his identity as a prisoner. No, for him, he was a freedom fighter. Now, he was a freedom fighter when he was outside prison, and he was a freedom fighter while he was in prison. And that's exactly the same mindset that I started to adopt, even though I was in the prison of those walls of debt, etc. And that is what you need to do. You need to change your mindset. That was one of the ways how I was able to remove low self-esteem. My favorite motivational speakers at the time, and it still is, Les Brown. I used to listen to Les Brown morning, noon, and night. I needed my spirit to be flooded with self-development, motivation, and empowering words. So I used to listen to him a lot. I still do listen to Myron Golden. He's one of my favorite motivational speakers, and development and all of that. Just go and check him out. He's brilliant. And then the third thing I did was I eliminated negative people from my life. It weren't going to help me. If you were not going to either be happy for me or help me towards my vision or encourage me, whatever, you had to go. Or if you was going to sit down and be gossiping about Auntie Susu, I don't have the time for that. Time is going so fast. It's unbelievable. I don't have the time for you to take up my space to be gossiping. Okay? I've only got 24 hours in a day. You, I don't have more hours than you. Okay? We've all got 24 hours in a day. I cannot give you my time for gossip. I need to use my time wisely. Guys, really maximize and use your time wisely. You cannot be spending it in idle chit chat or gossip or wasting time flicking through social media endlessly. That is wasting your time. Okay, you need to be very, very precious and very protective over your time. It is the only valuable currency that you have. I'm telling you, if Steve Jobs, at the time when he was dying of cancer, you could give him your time, he would have given you all his money in his bank account. There is no point in having all that money and you don't have time. Right, so if you are in debt, I'm going to give you a little task. I want you to get all those letters that have been piling up in a side. I want you to open it, and I want you to just write down the companies and the amount of money that you owe. That's the first task that I want you to do. And then I want you to start tackling each one at a time, revisiting your finances and see what needs to go. Because a lot of the times, when I do consulting with my clients, a lot of times they're in debt, but if you see their expenditure, they are spending on things that they don't need, and that money can go towards their debt. So you need to do an overhaul of your finances and then be able to allocate money that can go towards reducing your debt. Okay, we're getting through, we're getting there. We are on step 4. Step 4 is ask the questions that successful people ask. Now, lucky for me, I was one of those people that asked questions. I asked questions to the point I used to get on my teacher's nerves. I have to understand why. If you just tell me the what, it's never going to sink into my brain. It's not. I think maybe that's how dyslexic people work. I don't know. If you're dyslexic, please let me know in the comments. For me, you can't tell me the what, or if you just give me all the features. I need to know why. I need to know how this thing works. I've always been like that since school. And so you need to ask why. You need to ask questions that successful people ask. Here's the difference between somebody who stays stuck and somebody who moves forward. Stuck people always ask fear-based questions, right? They say things like, what if I fail? What if I end up broke? What if I can't move forward? What if I go to Africa and it doesn't work and I come back with my tails between my legs and I'm shamed? I have to admit failure and people are laughing at me. Stuck people ask, what if I don't make it? Successful people, on the other hand, always ask, how did they achieve it? Me, that's the question I'm always asking. For me, if you cut my hand, right, isn't it the same color blood that's going to come out of somebody like Bill Gates' hand, or I don't know, Elon Musk, even though some people say that Elon Musk is not human, but I digress. You get the picture, right? You're the same human being as me. You're not that special. For me, I don't see you as special. I see that you have knowledge that I don't have. You have a system that I don't have. So I need to ask, how? How did you do it? And I seek to know the answer. You need to be asking the right questions. What system was they using? Because if I can figure out what system they're using, I can also adopt that system in my business, or I can adopt that system when I'm putting together my financial plan, or when I'm putting together my exit strategy to leave the West. What knowledge did they have to allow them to move with confidence? That's a big one for me. For me, the only difference between me and Dangote is knowledge. He had knowledge. He's got information that I don't have. He's not a better human being than I am, and I'm not a better human being than him. We're both human. What do you know that I don't know yet? The key question is yet. Okay? It's not that you're going to know and I'm never going to find out. It's what do you know now, but I'm going to know. So the only difference between you and that person that's living the life that you want is knowledge, confidence, and the willingness to fail without dying inside or without giving up. Hey, if you know the amount of failures I've had, man, I should write a book. I've failed many times in business, in relationships, in just life. It's part of it.
The final one is step 5, build a visceral emotional decision. Now this step is very different to step 1. Step 1, remember we was talking about your identity, the lie identity, right? So these are the things that we say about ourselves that simply isn't true. That's different to this stage, is about emotional intensity. Remember what I was saying earlier, your brain cannot tell the difference between reality and the imagined. It only responds to repetition and emotion. I'll give you a classic example. When I was walking up those flights of stairs to my council flat, I would literally imagine myself being the person that I wanted to be. So I could smell the ocean. I could taste the foods that I wanted to be eating, that I could afford to be eating. I could feel the sand on my feet. I could feel the luxurious clothes that I'd be wearing. You know, it's more about just speaking words or having a vision. It's attaching an emotion to it. It's actually feeling it. So every single time I walked up the stairs, each step I would say, I don't belong here, and I would attach an emotion to where I belonged. I thought about what would it feel like to be in Africa, what would it smell like to have nature all around me. You know, it was an intensity of emotion. I could taste the organic foods, right, that I would be eating. One of the foods that I just wanted to always have in abundance was soursop. And the reason why I'm saying that is because one soursop in the UK, this was 2 years ago, was £8. I heard it's even gone up. £8. Whereas here, soursop is about 50p. Ridiculous, right? So I could just taste the soursop. I could imagine myself having as much soursop as I wanted, because it was a luxury in the UK. And I said this with emotion, with frustration, and with conviction. And these emotions were powerful enough for me to make steps. I wrote a date. I said to myself, you know what? I am not going to be having wishful thinking and saying I'm going to move one day and it's just, there's no date behind it, or there's no intention behind it. I put down a date, and the date that I put down was October 2022 that I was going to relocate. Now I relocated February 2nd of February 2023. I was 3 months out. And the only reason why I was 3 months out was because my friend who relocated with me had an asthma attack and she had to be in hospital. So we had to move our dates. If that did not happen, I would have been in Kenya October 2022. Now, this what happens when you put emotion behind your words, when you can feel yourself in that place, when you write down a date and when you plan out a timeline. This is what can happen. It works. It really does. I'm a living testimony of this. I get my clients to do this all the time. I don't want to hear just random dates, or I don't want to hear, oh, one day I'll relocate. Oh, I wish to relocate. Trust me, you are never going to relocate. Or if you say things like, oh, one day I'm going to be rich, or I'm going to be wealthy one day. Like, no, when? What are the steps that you're going to be putting in place for that to happen? Because if you're not intentional, it ain't going to happen, my friend. Here's what I want you to take from this video. Your relocation, your wealth creation, your financial stability, your soft life, you running your business, your freedom, it's not just going to happen randomly. No. And it's not reserved for special people either. Rather, it's predictable, it's intentional, and it's available for you. If this girl from South London who left school at the age of 14, who had a baby at 17, who was in debt by the time she came out of university, who used to climb the stairs to her 4th floor of a council flat, no lift, was able to relocate to Africa, to Kenya, build a business, build several businesses, invest in property, and deliberately and intentionally live the life that she's always wanted to live. How much more you? You, with all your skills, with your experience, with your character, with your quirky ways, you, yes, you can also build your dream life. My mum used to say something, if it's going to be, it's up to me. You've probably heard this as well. Very simple, but very profound. Nobody is coming to save you, my friend. I wish it was so. The world doesn't work like that. Nobody is coming to save you. If it's going to be, it is up to me. And you are more than capable. I've already spoken about your power. Just being melanated alone, your power is enough. You can absolutely build the life you want. And the journey, the step doesn't start out there. It starts here. You are one decision away from living your dream life. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. All right, I will see you on the next video.